In this module, we'll go over a walkthrough of the Aviatrix platform UI. We'll start with the controller, and then we'll move on to CoPilot. At the login screen of the controller, you have the choice to sign in using an account that is already onboarded into a SAML provider for role-based access control, or RBAC. In this example, we'll sign in using a developer account of Okta. The first time you sign in, you'll be shown what is new in the UI. Notice in the top right corner that we are signed in as an RBAC user called RBAC Operator. We also have the choice to sign in using a local user. In this case, we're signing in as the admin user. The controller dashboard contains information such as the number of CSP accounts onboarded, Aviatrix gateways, spoke tunnels, FireNet, FQDN deployments, active VPN users, and site-to-cloud connections. More information is provided on the dashboard of CoPilot, which we'll go over separately. The onboarding menu lets you add CSP accounts, subscriptions, projects, and tenancies depending on the CSP, whether they're in China and whether they are for the US federal government. You can also deploy a CoPilot instance directly from the controller here. The account menu lets you manage your CSP accounts, subscriptions, projects, and tenancies. As you can see here, I have one for AWS, Azure, GCP, and OCI. And you can see the RBAC groups that these accounts are assigned to. The gateway menu is where you can manage the lifecycle of all your gateways. You can get more granular information from here and customize the columns on display. The multi-cloud transit menu is where you can manage your transit and spoke gateways. From the setup submenu, you can create transit gateways for any cloud account that has been onboarded onto the controller. And you can specify whether you want high availability for that transit gateway. Likewise for spoke gateways. Remember, these are deployed in VPCs, VNets, and VCNs where your application workloads are. Once you have your transit and spoke gateways, you can create transit spoke attachments, which will create IPsec tunnels under the hood. You can create connections to external entities. These can be site-to-cloud connections using IPsec as the encapsulation protocol, such as to third-party routers or firewalls, or even AWS VPN gateways or Azure Virtual Network gateways. Or they can be BGP over GRE or BGP over LAN connections, which are used for SD-WAN integration. Multi-cloud transit list is where you can view your existing transit gateways and spoke gateways. Multi-cloud transit peering is where you can create and manage your transit peerings. These may be with transit gateways in other regions or with other CSPs altogether. Firewall network is where you can set up your FireNet, starting with VPCs and gateways, and then deploying a firewall image from the pull-down menu. The firewall network list submenu is where you can see a list of your transit FireNets and firewalls. And as you can see, there is one Fortinet FortiGate firewall deployed in AWS here. The firewall network policy submenu is where you can control which traffic should be service chained and redirected to the firewalls. And as you can see in this example, only traffic that enters or leaves Spoke 1 or Spoke 2 in AWS US East 1 will be inspected. The Cloud End menu is where you can go to set up and manage the lifecycle of your Aviatrix secure edge gateways. The Site-to-Cloud menu is where you can manage the lifecycle of your site-to-cloud connections. Here you can see that there are two connections. The first one is terminating on a spoke gateway in GCP, and the second one is terminating on a transit gateway in AWS. Both of them are using IKE v1. The OpenVPN menu is for managing user VPN access. Here we see two users for two different profiles, contractors and developers, and the certificate files that they each get will point them to a regional load balancer for the CSP in question. In this case, it is an Azure load balancer. Under the security menu, let's take a look at the egress control submenu. This is where we can configure egress FQDN filtering. In this example, we have a filter or tag called discover that is actually empty. And because it is a deny list, this means that it will allow all traffic. We're doing that so that we can monitor all traffic passing through this gateway. We could have just as well made it an allow list and specified some domains that we wanted to explicitly allow. Now let's take a look at CoPilot. We'll launch it from a tray in the top right corner. When you first log on to CoPilot, you'll encounter the dashboard, which gives you a high-level summary of everything that CoPilot sees and knows about. It contains an inventory of Aviatrix gateways and shows where your cloud networks are deployed globally. Additionally, you can get the status of all the constructs for each tile. For example, 2 healthy site-to-cloud connections here. On the map, you can double-click to zoom in and hover over any icon to get more details. You can see bar charts that show which cloud accounts have been onboarded or managed, the gateways that exist in each cloud, and specifically the transit gateways in each cloud. You can also see pie charts that show the distribution of gateways by type, whether they're transit, spoke, VPN, or egress, gateways by region, gateways by instance size, regardless of which cloud they're of, and the instances per region. From the dashboard, you can also see the total amount of traffic traversing your cloud network over the past 24 hours. We break this total traffic down by region, by VPC, VNet, or VCN, by gateways, and by instances. Next is topology, which offers a global topological view of everything the Aviatrix platform knows about, such as gateways, VPCs, VNets, VCNs, subnets, and instances. You can customize your view to show or hide resources to your liking. For example, using CSP tags or labels to show workloads in certain environments. You can also save your layout. Then you can click on an Aviatrix gateway to perform context-based diagnostics, such as ping, traceroute, tracepath, and packet capture. Flow IQ allows visualization of flow records that are generated by Aviatrix gateways. Each tab provides a different story of what's going on. Overview summarizes the top talkers and receivers. Trends shows you the movement of traffic over any time window you want. By selecting a particular time range, you can drill down and hone in on your troubleshooting. Geolocation is very useful from a compliance perspective. It's a heat map view that shows you where most of your traffic is going to or coming from. Flows shows you the relationship between top talkers and top receivers. On the left side is the source, on the right side is the destination. And the thickest lines are indicative of source-destination pairs that carry the most traffic. Records gives you the most granular view of net flow data. You can create filters based on over 80 net flow fields. The performance menu in CoPilot gives you time series data on over 50 metrics whose telemetry CoPilot keeps track of. This includes system metrics such as CPU and memory-related data, as well as network metrics that the CSP exposes. You can also create policies to scale your gateways based on certain thresholds that you define. And we provide handy recommendations to help determine how to create those policies. The Cloud Routes menu is where you can locate your routing tables and routes on gateways, as well as in VPCs and VNets. Notice the RFC 1918 routes programmed on the spoke here. Site-to-Cloud lists all your site-to-cloud connections. BGP info gives you a visual indication of your BGP connections, as well as the routes you learned from your on-prem site-to-cloud connections and the routes that you are advertising to them. App IQ gives you a report of end-to-end path troubleshooting. We cover an example of this in the operations module separately. Under the security menu, you can view the network segmentation in your environment. This shows you all the network domains. And with the logical view, you can see their connectivity as well as how they are related to each other. So in this example, the on-prem network domain can only communicate with the dev network domain, and dev, prod, and staging are all in a full mesh. With microsegmentation, we can manage the lifecycle of app domains. And then we can create policies that allow or deny traffic between these app domains. Threat IQ shows all the malicious IPs reported in the environment. By taking a closer look at any threat, we can see where exactly in our environment this IP was seen, where the malicious IP itself exists based on geodata, and why exactly it was reported. Fortunately, we have ThreatGuard to the rescue to program stateful firewall rules and block that IP in both directions on all gateways where it's seen. Network behavior analytics can be retrieved from the anomalies menu. This shows us how certain deviant behavior was flagged as an anomaly, such as excessive traffic or the number of ingress or egress ports.